Thank you for joining today. This is another Working with Ward series. I'm co-host with my daughter Tamara Day on the HGTV show Bargain Mansions. And today I'm going to do a little project that's been bugging me for a long time. I've got an irrigation system here. I've got a valve that keeps leaking, and as you could maybe tell, I've got plenty of water here that's been leaked from that valve into a Tupperware container to keep it from going all over the floor. So I'm no different than anybody else. I'm just fixing things and making them last as long as I can. But today I'm going to cut out this valve and I'm going to replace it. And I'm going to show you how easy that is. I'm going to use a really unique device called SharkBite. They're a fitting that has you buy them for the correct size of the pipe. They slide right on, they have an O-ring in them. There's no soldering, there's no welding, there's no screwing, no taping, no gluing, no nothing. You slide these babies on and they work. So I hope that's the way they work today. They've always worked that way for me before. So I'm gonna cut this off down below and above. I'm gonna slide this in. I'm gonna have to put an extender onto it to get it to the piece that I've cut off. But this isn't gonna take very long. This should be done within 20 to 25 minutes. Now, in preparation, I did have to go outside, shut off the water at the street. I also had to drain all the lines, so that means opening the valve here, but also going up to the top floor and opening the valve there and letting the air get in behind it so there's not a vacuum, so that I don't get splashed, kind of like I did on the sump pump scene that you all enjoyed so much. So with that, I'm gonna get started. I'm going to grab a cutter. You could use a hacksaw, you could use a pipe cutter, which is a round device with a wheel, a cutting wheel on it, and you just screw it tighter and spin it around. I obviously don't have access for that, so I'm going to use this little universal saw, and it just vibrates a blade back and forth, and we'll cut this off nice and smoothly. That's the part of the trick with the SharkBites, is that the pipe needs to be absolutely round, they need to be lined up, and it needs to be clean, and then the O-ring will seat. None of those are very hard to do. Obviously this pipe is straight in line with this one, so I don't have to worry about that. I'll get my edges as straight as I possibly can, and then I've got a piece of sandpaper I'm going to use to sand them down a little bit. So I'm going to get started. So all I'm doing right now is, as you can see, I've cut it off both ends. I'm just getting the burrs, the little pieces of metal that would stick out from the cutting, and I just want it to be smooth because there is a rubber O-ring inside those SharkBite fittings, and I don't want it to get cut in the process of sliding on. And I also want these to be round and fit nicely. So I think I've got it. I'm going to take sandpaper now, sand it just a little bit. Doesn't really take much, but just kind of wrap it around the pipe like that. Draw it back and forth. Shine it up a little bit. Get any rough edges off of it that you can. See how the copper gets so shiny when it's clean? That's all oxidized copper, meaning it's like steel, it's rusted. So now I'm going to put the valve on. And the valves really don't have a directional flow to them. They're just a ball valve. So it just shuts off inside, opens up. It can go on either way. So as I described, there's a little fitting inside here that slips right over the pipe. I'm going to slide this down as far as I can. That's it. That's pretty amazing. That's installed. Now, I've got to cut a short section of pipe. I'm going to use this shorter coupler that I bought. And I'm going to figure out, so I need to cut this to be about that long and about that short so that this will fit in there. So it's a little bit of experimentation. Get the burrs off, flatten down the ends. Copper's nice and soft, easy to work with. File's real easy. This is a little device, by the way, that they send with it that is used for uncoupling. If you need to take it off, you can push this on and it'll remove the coupling. I've actually never had to do it, so I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I may have to find out. Okay, originally I was showing you I was going to use this short one. The problem with this short one is I don't have any flexibility in my pipe to go up. Maybe a quarter of an inch is all. And so getting this one on, stopping it here, then lifting it up 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch and getting it in there would be kind of impossible. So they make, in their infinite wisdom, another one called a slip joint. So this one's longer, but the pipe will slip in clear up to here. And then this will fit into the space. I'll be able to then slide this back up and connect it completely. It's really, really cool stuff. So let's see if I'm right. Let's turn the valve off just for a little bit of security. Let's turn the water on all the way. So that's what I wanted to know. Would that stop dripping? So the water that you just saw was drainage from the piping in the house that's still draining out of the sinks and the faucets up above. And I just opened that up, let it run, but now I've got a seal. This isn't going anywhere. So another Working with Ward series, super simple, really pretty easy. Not anything to be terribly afraid of, and something a lot of you could do at home by yourself. Thank you for watching this Working with Ward.